What's going on, guys? Certified meteorologist Jonathan Keg is back with you. You don't need me to tell you it's cold pretty much everywhere across the country. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. Let me know how cold it is in your area. In this video, though, we're going to talk about the rest of this cold outbreak and then look ahead to warmer days. When does this pattern flip and we get some warmth back into the area if you are sick of this cold? Before we get into all of this, if you want to stay updated on the rest of winter and beyond, you have to hit subscribe. Please do that for me. If you happen to find this content helpful, please hit that thumbs up button. It really does help us a lot. Small task, but it really does help a lot. All right. There we go. This is Wednesday morning in the chill. Still hanging on, especially for really a lot of the country, if not all of the country. There you go, Buffalo, fresh off the victory on Monday afternoon. 10 degrees above zero, 15 above in Kansas City, Oklahoma City. We are at 21 degrees. And again, this is early tomorrow morning. So again, we are still well into the freezer in Texas, watching you guys closely. In Dallas, San Antonio, 22 degrees. In Houston, we're at 27 in New Orleans. Now, this is something that sticks with us. We do get a little bit of a break, a mini break as we get into Thursday. So this is 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. You see, at least for us in Texas, we're getting back to around 70 in Houston, San Antonio, still pretty chilly in Dallas, still cold in the northern plains, upper Midwest, but that bitter Arctic stuff has retreated at least for a short time. Watch what happens, though. We're going to get a reinforcing shot of some Arctic air heading into the weekend. We're back into the 20s in Texas. Boise, we're right around the freezing mark, 4 degrees below zero in Bismarck. Teens again, starting off your day in Pittsburgh, 15 degrees above zero on Saturday morning near the freezing mark in Jacksonville. We're going to have a lot of teens and 20s in the panhandle of Florida. So again, this outbreak of Arctic air, it's pretty serious. Buffalo, we're at 18 above on Sunday morning. And again, this is just the actual air temperature. When you factor in the wind, it of course gets way, way worse. Single digits in teens in parts of Texas where you see that purple color there, all the way pretty much on the outskirts of Houston and into San Antonio, where it's 17 degrees when you factor in the wind in Houston tomorrow morning. Again, there's that mini little bit of improvement anyway by the time we get into Thursday. Again, just little, but then we get that other reinforcing blast there of the Arctic air. There's Saturday morning again. Look at this. 15 degrees below zero again in Detroit, toward Minneapolis, Bismarck. We're pushing 20 degrees below zero. Same for us in Kansas City. So again, this Arctic outbreak, if you will, going to stay with us, reinforced there, anchored in all the way through the weekend. And then again, here we go on Sunday morning. It's still pretty ugly. Again, it's going to feel more like the teens and 20s through parts of North Florida as well. So this is expansive. This is an intense Arctic outbreak that's going to last, again, for at least the next week, through at least Sunday. But look at this. If you are not a fan of the winter weather, at least the cold, I know there hasn't been a ton of snow everywhere. I know I'm looking at you in the Northeast. We had some snow in the South. Nonetheless, big pattern flip coming by the second half of January. So there you go, next 8 to 14 days. So this is beyond the Arctic chill here. This is a Climate Prediction Center outlook. I'm going to show you some oscillations coming up. We're going to explain why we're going to see this pattern flip in just 1 second. But there you go, beyond the next 7 days. So again, we're looking at 8 days beyond really the 22nd, 23rd of January. And then to close out the month, it looks like it is going to be warmer than normal. And this is the reason why. Here's the Arctic oscillation. We're going to start this off with the Arctic oscillation. We talked weeks ago that we were likely going to have a very frigid middle of January because we were looking at the AO and we saw this right in here, this big dip, this change of phase from kind of highly positive where it keeps all of the cold air bottled up into the Arctic to this big negative change here at the start of January. And again, it takes about a week or two for the atmosphere to kind of see the ramifications of that pattern flip. But look what happens here. Kind of after tomorrow or the next day, we have this giant shot up in the phase of the AO. We go extremely positive. And what that means, again, we have a stronger jet stream. And when we have a stronger jet stream, it tends to keep all of that cold Arctic air bottled up, kind of where it should be, into Canada and into the Arctic. So you see that right there. It does look like it comes negative again. So I don't think this is the end of winter. When we did our preseason winter outlook, it looked like we were going to have a really cold spell in January and then maybe another one by the middle of February. So again, that's still on the table. But it does look like we're going to break things back out. Now, here is the Pacific North American. This is what we want to be positive. If you want snow in the east anyway, you need to have the ridge out west, trough in the east. That's illustrated by a positive PNA right here, and that does stay positive. But then the other issue here is if you want snow in the northeast, You want to have the North Atlantic Oscillation, the NAO, be negative. That means we have the blocking. So we're coming out of a very negative NAO. So we had that block over Greenland. It helps to funnel in all of the cold as well and kind of block all the storm systems from going out at sea. And that's when we tend to get anyway your big snows along the I-95 corridor. You see it here, though, that switch also happening, kind of coinciding with the jet stream getting stronger and the AO going positive. We also have the North Atlantic Oscillation positive. So all those oscillations for winter weather that we track suggest here that we are, in fact, going to get ourselves back into a much warmer time period relative to normal. So for that, I want to take you back to our other weather computer, and this is where we stand as of Saturday. What this big purple blob in the middle of your screen here, this is going to be the departure from normal. So this is the temperature anomaly, not the actual temperature. Before I was showing you the actual air temperature. So this is, again, anomalies of about 20-ish degrees below normal. That's that dark purple here. So that's really encompassing a lot of the east. Look at us out west, though. We mentioned that the PNA was going positive. That would, again, suggest that we would have warmer than normal temperatures here as we positive PNA, ridge out west, trough in the east. So that's what the pattern would suggest going forward. Now, taking this out, watch the kind of cold here erode away. This is still Sunday. We're going to take you out further again into next week. Look at all of that cold air go away, and then look at the anomalies turn to the warmer side. So what was like 30 or 40 degrees below normal in the upper Midwest and northern plains, now we're going to be pushing, look at that, 20 degrees above normal. Minnesota, the Dakotas, Montana, into Colorado, Utah, California, Nevada. We're still a little bit below here in the south. We're still kind of working on eroding away some of that chill. I think our big-time warm-up comes after the 23rd or 24th of January, but nonetheless, there is the change. That change is starting. So if you're not a fan of this cold, hang around until the 23rd, 24th, and then we really start to crank up the warmth again relative to normal. So we're going to be watching that. And then if you're a fan of winter weather, we are going to be watching for maybe the secondary crash here of winter weather coming our way, the hammer coming back down as we get into the second part of February. So we're going to be watching that. I know it's still snow-wise in the Northeast. Been a pretty lame winter to start. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you found this content helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help us out a lot. And if you haven't posted in the comments yet, I would really love to know where you're tuning in from and talk about the weather, where you are tuning in from. Again, post in the comments where you are watching from, what the weather's doing. I'd like to have that conversation. And again, we will catch you next time. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you later.